As soon as I had my first flight and we left the ground, I knew this was for me. I was hooked. It's just a completely different feeling than being on the ground.
The industry predicts a shortage of 12,000 pilots in North America next year, with too few pilots coming from the military and private pilot training costing $100,000, prohibitive for many. All airlines are scrambling to fill their cockpits. United plans to hire 10,000 pilots over the next 8 years, half of them graduates of its new academy. CEO Scott Kirby.
This is a way for you to ensure that the pilots are being trained to the specs, to the qualifications you want.
In the way that the military trains pilots, with upset recovery training, and really a unique approach to pilot training to train the next generation of pilots for United Airlines.
United says 50% of its students will be women or minorities. As a flight attendant, Shelley Thomas dreamed of becoming a pilot. Today, she is.
Yeah, you manage the energy perfectly.
Teaching Josh to fly and headed for her own career in the cockpit.
The ultimate goal would be to fly a 777 for United. Yeah.
A 777?
Yeah.
That's a big plane.
Bigger than this one.
Before becoming a commercial airline pilot, the grads will still need to have 1,500 flight hours. Most will start at a regional airline.
As for Josh,
Actually, I think they were probably my best landings I've had yet.
in a few years, he may be your pilot. Tom Costello, NBC News, Phoenix.
Important information, safety information from Apple, a new way to access a national park, plus the unlikely pairing of a country singer with cake mix. Here's NBC investigative and consumer correspondent Vicki Nguyen with this week's Good to Know.
Good morning. We start with an important recall. Nissan has issued a voluntary recall of some of its cars over concerns that electrical issues may cause fires. The company said there were 4 reported incidents in the U.S. and Canada, but no injuries or crashes. The recall affects 2014 to 2016 model Rogue SUVs. Go to Nissan's website to see if your car is affected. Apple is addressing some safety concerns over its popular AirTags. The company released a personal safety user guide with tips to avoid stalking or harassment. This all comes after several women spoke out on social media about being tracked with the devices. We were first to speak with Sports Illustrated model Brooks Nader earlier this month. She says someone slipped an AirTag into her coat pocket at a New York bar. Nader told us she didn't find the AirTag for 5 hours and reported the incident to police. We showed you how this can happen. Our consumer investigative team tracked me all over Manhattan. Apple did not say whether the guide was a response to our reporting and these recent stories on social media. The company said in an earlier statement, the AirTag was designed with features to prevent unwanted stalking and deter bad actors from using them for nefarious purposes. Press your luck for your next spot at a national park. Yosemite National Park is testing out a lottery system to reserve camping sites. Campers can go online and enter for a $10 fee. Yosemite joins other parks like Yellowstone and the Grand Canyon who are testing lotteries to keep up with surging visitor numbers. Your taste buds will be working 9 to 5 for this. Dolly Parton is launching her first ever cake mix line in partnership with food company Duncan Hines. The mixes come in 2 flavors, Southern style coconut and banana. They'll be available at your local grocery store starting in March. For News Now, I'm Vicki Nguyen, and that's Good to Know.
Coming up, we've got more to come here on Morning News Now, including 4 teams just 1 win away from the Super Bowl. We've got more on the excitement of what's expected to be another exciting weekend of football next on Morning News Now.
News is happening now.
A look at what's making headlines around the world.
Tonight, the major announcement of the COVID vaccine.
This is a significant moment.
Your news, whenever it happens, wherever you are, it's here now.
News is more than a headline. It informs, it inspires, and it still matters. To cover it, you have to be in it. And that's what we're going to do. Every night, we take you to the front lines of the story, where it's actually happening, with NBC News journalists on the ground from all over the world. We cover what you need to know and bring your newsfeed to life. In primetime and streaming live, it's your news playlist every night.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
The Meet the Press Chuck Todd Cast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Terry Crews, Team USA superfan. Sean White, what are you trying to prove?
Sean White takes the goal!
You've already won more Olympic golds in snowboarding than anyone else ever. You've dominated the sport since you were a teen. Now you're trying to beat kids half your age. Maybe you're trying to prove you're every bit as good as you were at 15 and that you only get better with age, like a fine cheese. Or yogurt. The Winter Olympics, February 3rd on NBC and Peacock.
What are you doing for teachers who feel that they're being stretched too thin? Did you understand how prevalent hunger was in your own community?
News is happening now.
A look at what's making headlines around the world.
Tonight, the major announcement of the COVID vaccine.
This is a significant moment.
Your news, whenever it happens, wherever you are, it's here now.
We've got a Congress that doesn't seem very functional. What's this election year going to look like? Are we getting ahead of the science? Are we behind the science? How much did this booster confusion set us back? Can the January 6th committee come up with anything that would change Republican minds? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
News is happening now.
A look at what's making headlines around the world.
Whenever it happens, wherever you are, it's here now.
Welcome back. We all know last weekend's NFL playoff games were incredible. Now fans are gearing up for another wild Sunday, hoping for more of the same.
Yeah, the 4 remaining teams now just 1 win away from Super Bowl 56. NBC News' Morgan Chesky joins us with a look at this weekend's conference championship matchups.
Yeah, good morning. If this weekend's matchups are anything like last weekend's, our blood pressures are all in big trouble. Some incredibly thrilling finishes by some of the league's youngest quarterbacks that are really changing the game right in front of us. Meanwhile, there are growing questions around the futures of some of the NFL's biggest veterans, including a guy named Tom Brady. This Sunday, it's the NFL's version of the Final Four, battling it out for a spot in the Super Bowl.
We're not done. I mean, we're trying to go out there and win the AFC Championship and then try to get to the Super Bowl.
Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, 1 win away from making it back to the big game for the 3rd straight year.
For the end zone, for the win!
Coming off a sensational victory against the Bills, considered one of the best NFL postseason games ever.
I kind of turned the page quickly, and I'm ready to go. Just try to keep getting better every single day.
But there's a history-making Bengals team ready to stand in their way. It's a matchup Mahomes had his eye on earlier this season. Second-year quarterback Joe Burrow leading Cincinnati to their first AFC Championship game in 33 years. The underdogs will have to pull another one out of their hat.
Cincinnati wins!
In a notoriously loud Arrowhead Stadium.
We expect it to be really loud. We're going to have to be great with our communication, our nonverbal communication, just like every week on the road.
In Los Angeles, a couple of California teams. The Rams and 49ers will take their division rivalry to new heights with a trip to a home state Super Bowl on the line.
We're excited to play in front of our home fans. There's no question about that.
The 49ers head into the weekend with 6 straight wins against the Rams.
I mean, we know these guys as well as possible, playing for a 3rd time now. Nothing will really surprise us, I wouldn't say.
As a new guard of NFL quarterbacks vie for a shot at Super Bowl stardom, speculation swirling about the future of some of the biggest names in the game. Fans wondering if they've seen 7-time Super Bowl champ Tom Brady take his final bow. Aaron Rodgers still hasn't committed to returning next season. And in Pittsburgh, 2-time Super Bowl champion quarterback Ben Roethlisberger announcing his retirement after 18 years.
I retire from football, a truly grateful man.
And on the other side of this weekend's big games, all eyes go to February 13th. That is when the Super Bowl is slated to take place in Los Angeles. Officials there have said any fan showing up will not only be rapidly tested, they can also get a free vaccination and will be handed a free KN95 mask and at least encouraged to wear it when they're not eating or drinking during the big game. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Morgan Chesky, you're excited to watch?
I am. Are you?
We'll be snowed in, so might as well.
Yes.
All right. Good. That does it for this hour of Morning News Now.
The news continues right now. Good morning. I'm Ellison Barber in for Savannah.
And I'm Joe Fryer. Right now on Morning News Now, end of an era and an opportunity for President Biden. The president formally announcing the retirement of Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer yesterday at the White House and making this promise about who will replace him.
That person will be the first black woman ever nominated to the United States Supreme Court.